Now let's look at this figure 14-5, and we're illustrating a single phase motor. The top illustration shows a 120 volt motor or 115 volt motor. May even be a 110 volt motor depending on the frame, see. Now notice at 90 degrees you're cutting your maximum flux and you go right on down, but notice right in this point here you have a little bit of a lag, no flux being cut. Then you start cutting flux again. Then you come in, and we're talking about the flux now that are provided from pole to pole that you looked at, north and south, with a rotor between them. And this shows now why 115, 120 volt motor, or maybe even 110, wouldn't be as powerful, because you have a point where you're not cutting any flux. But now notice, you can say, well, no, I'm going to have a single phase motor with two hots, A and B, or L1 and L2. Now notice, as you peak with one motor and you come down where you're cutting no flux that you see here, then the motor above it is peaking. So you have one peaking when one's not, so you have kind of two people on the bicycle instead of one person on the bicycle. Think about a bicycle. If you're riding a bicycle, you come up with your pedal on this side and you're going down, but you're getting your force there, aren't you? See? But as you go down here, if you ever think about riding a bicycle, you're coming up with this one. So you're kind of one person, but you've got that motion going all the time, one peaking and one not peaking on your bicycle. A motor's kind of a good example of it, see. If you had another example, say you had one person driving a peg or driving a driven rod. You got one person hitting it, they got a lag before they hit it again. Say you got two persons hitting it. As the first person hits it and comes back, the other's coming in and to hit it and hits it. You got two people driving that rod, it goes down a lot faster than one person driving it, right? That's a good example of the relationship between a 120 volt motor and a 240 volt motor, say. And we're just using that voltage, mostly, you're going to have say 115 or a 230 volt motor, but you could have 122. So look at that, and you can see in this illustration of your field poles, what you're representing here. In the illustration below, where you have two people on the bicycle, two people driving the peg or the rod, that's what your phase A and B is doing here. So you don't have that lag that you have up here where you're cutting no flux with your 120 volt motor. You get what I'm saying here. Now, that's what this figure 14-5 is illustrating.